Hey everyone, and welcome to Hidden Jams, the backstage pass to your favorite music. I'm Amanda, a music sleuth / music journalist, and today we'll be going behind the music into the story of Kelly Clarkson's beloved hit single, Breakaway. Most of us probably know Breakaway as not only Kelly's massive mid-2000s hit, but also as the title of her most successful and impactful album to date. However, Breakaway actually began with another 2000s pop singer, although we didn't hear her demo or live performances until many years later. Breakaway boasts a big backstory and continued evolution even 20 years after it was written. Let's dive into Breakaway's journey. Although we all know Breakaway as a huge hit for Kelly Clarkson, it actually began with none other than Avril Lavigne. Avril Lavigne grew up in a small town, Napanee, Ontario, with a population of only 5,000. She was a shy girl, and it was a small and sheltered community, but she wanted more than anything to escape and break free. But what Napanee did offer Avril was an excellent platform to shine as a singer. From the time she was a small child, Avril performed in church events, musicals, and local fairs. This is how, in December 1999, she was discovered by Cliff Fabry, who became her first manager. Under his guidance, she went to New York City in the summer of 2000, where she met Peter Zizzo and became connected with Arista Records. Through Arista Records, she met L.A. Reid. At a showcase in November 2000, L.A. Reid heard Avril sing for the first time, and he liked her music so much, and he liked her voice so much, that he signed her on the spot. Over the next several months, Avril worked with a variety of established artists and songwriters. She was first flown to New York City to work with several songwriters, and she was later flown out to Los Angeles to continue working on her album. It is during these sessions that she met up with the songwriters who would eventually help her to write Breakaway. In 2001, Avril worked with Matthew Gerard and Bridget Benenate on some music. Together, they ended up writing Breakaway. In a 2000 interview with Songwriter Universe, Matthew Gerard stated, "The song was originally written for Avril. It was inspired by her life." Bridget Benenate explained further in a 2005 interview with Songwriter Universe. She explained, "Avril came over to write with us. Avril talked about her life and what things were important to her. She was the inspiration for the song. Matthew began creating the melody and the track, and I started working on the lyrics. I remember staying in bed for 3 days, writing 25 versions of the lyric. I love being in bed and writing lyrics, and having my dog Jet and my kitty Dash on the bed. Anyway, we finally finished the lyric, then we completed the demo. 3 days and 25 versions later, Breakaway ended up being a song that directly reflected Avril Lavigne's life in Napanee, Ontario, and her decision to leave and break away in order to find a music career in the United States. Indeed, many of the lyrics in the song Breakaway really do resonate with Avril's experiences. Consider these lyrics. For example, the way Breakaway begins really paints a picture of who Avril was and what her life was like in Napanee. She sings, "Grew up in a small town, and when the snow would fall down, I'd just stare at my window, dreaming of what could be, and if I'd end up happy, I would pray." The next line describes her leaving, which is exactly what she did when she went to New York City to work on music for the first time. "Get on board a fast train, travel on a jet plane, far away." And as the song's chorus communicates, breaking away can be both freeing and both sad as you leave behind the ones that you love. "I'll spread my wings and I'll learn how to fly, though it's not easy to tell you goodbye." After they had finished writing the song, Avril recorded a demo of it in 2001. We didn't hear that demo until much later. In a 2013 interview with Howard Stern, Howard asked Avril if she remembered her demo version of Breakaway. She didn't quite recall how it sounded, but she did joke that it probably sounds like ass. Parts of Avril's original demo did appear online in 2007, but it wasn't until March 31st, 2014 that the full demo leaked online. The lyrics, structure, and melody are all almost exactly the same as the version that we know by Kelly Clarkson. The only significant change in lyrics is in the second line. In Kelly's version, she sings, "And when the rain would fall down, I just stare out my window." In Avril's version, the original version, She sang, "And when the snow would fall down, I'd just stare out my window." Indeed, Napanee, Ontario probably gets a lot of snow, but Texas, where Kelly Clarkson grew up, not so much. It makes sense that they changed the lyric to rain for Kelly's version. Avril's original 2001 demo of Breakaway sounds very simple and sweet. Her voice sounds youthful and young, and indeed she was only 15 or 16 when she recorded that demo. Her voice is bright, and the song sounds gentle, and it has a little bit of a country flair. When Avril was getting her start in the music world in Napanee, Ontario, she played a lot of country music festivals, because that's what was popular in her area. Rumor has it that when she was signed, the label was under the impression that she would become a country star. So it makes sense that some of her early demos, not just Breakaway but also some others that have leaked online, had a little bit of a country sound to them. It seems that it wasn't until a little bit further into the process that Avril's true vision for her music became evident. That's when she switched to a more pop rock sound. The original intention was that Breakaway would appear on Avril's first album, Let Go. However, when the album came out in 2002, Breakaway was clearly not on the track list. So what happened? Matthew Gerard recalled in 2007 that, as it turned out, it wasn't quite right for Avril's album. In that 2013 interview that Avril did with Howard Stern, he asked her why Breakaway wasn't on her album, Let Go. Avril simply answered, "I wasn't feeling it. Sometimes that happens." Once it was discarded and Let Go came out, instead featuring songs like Complicated, Skater Boy, and I'm With You, Breakaway's fate was up in the air. Would the song become a forgotten demo, never to be heard again? Or would it find a home in another artist's discography? After Avril and her team decided against using Breakaway, the song went on to some other singers. Most notably, it ended up with Samantha Moore, a young Canadian artist similar to Avril. Samantha Moore recorded a version of Breakaway in 2002, and it ended up being the song that got her signed to a record deal. Her manager at the time was Cliff Fabry, the same guy that was first managing Avril, so I can see how the connection happened. Samantha's version of Breakaway was similar to Avril's, and similar to how Kelly's eventually sounded. There weren't any notable differences between the versions. Although Samantha Moore got the song first, it wasn't until well after Breakaway became a hit with Kelly Clarkson that Samantha Moore's version got released commercially. On July 30th, 2009, Samantha Moore released her album, Prequel to Finally, Country-Based Songs. It included her version of Breakaway as the opening song on the album. Eventually, Breakaway found its way to Kelly Clarkson and The Princess Diaries 2, Royal Engagement. One of the writers, Bridget Benenit, explained in a 2005 interview, "I want to credit Mitchell Lieb for helping to make this song a hit. Mitchell was a big believer in this song. He placed it in the film and got it to Kelly Clarkson." In that 2013 interview with Howard Stern, that I've referenced a few times now, Avril was asked how Breakaway ended up with Kelly Clarkson. Avril confirmed that it was mostly done through management on both sides. She and Kelly did not actually meet and talk about the song together during this process. However, Avril did give Kelly her blessing in having the song Breakaway. Avril stated, "I was asked if Kelly could have the song, and I was like, sure." Kelly recorded her version of Breakaway with Jeff Rothschild at the Henson Recording Studios in Hollywood, California. Kelly sang all the vocal parts, including the backing vocals, and John Shanks played guitar, bass, and keyboards on the track. Jeff Rothschild himself played the drums. Both John and Jeff mixed the song at Henson Recording Studios, while John produced the song. I wasn't able to find out exactly when the song was recorded, but it seems that it was done sometime in the first half of 2004. Breakaway was first sent to radio on July 19th, 2004. It was released through Walt Disney Records as the lead single from the Princess Diaries 2 soundtrack. That soundtrack album came out on August 3rd. It included 15 songs, starting with Breakaway. Incidentally, it also included a song by Avril Lavigne called I Always Get What I Want. That song was also included as a bonus track on her 2004 album, Under My Skin. In the movie, Breakaway plays during the parade scene when Princess Mia invites orphans to march with her. The song plays for 1 full minute during this touching scene. The Princess Diaries 2, Royal Engagement, was released to theaters on August 11th, 2004, just over 1 week after the soundtrack album came out. Breakaway was generally well received by critics, with many calling it a friendly, acoustic guitar-driven pop anthem. Although some admitted that the song sounded middle of the road, boring, or even tedious, it was still considered a graceful and intelligent song. To promote Breakaway, Kelly appeared on numerous late-night and daytime television shows. She first performed Breakaway on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno in August 2004, but she performed it on other televised shows as well, including SNL and The Oprah Winfrey Show, both in 2005. After being sent to radio, Breakaway debuted on the Billboard Hot 100 at number 60 on August 28, 2004. It finally entered the top 10 in its 10th week on the chart. It was Kelly's third top 10 song, following A Moment Like This in 2002 and Miss Independent in 2003. On November 20th, 2004, Breakaway peaked at number 6 on the Hot 100. It ultimately spent 46 weeks on the Billboard Hot 100 chart. Breakaway also appeared on multiple year-end charts in 2004 and 2005. It was number 2 on the US Billboard Top Soundtrack Singles in 2004. The next year, it was number 1 on the same chart. Breakaway was also number 1 on the 2005 US Billboard Hot Adult Contemporary year-end chart. The song was number 8 on the US Billboard Hot Adult Top 40 in 2005, and it was 27 on both the US Billboard Hot Digital Songs and the US Billboard Hot 100 charts in 2005 as well. And even by the end of the decade, Breakaway's success was still holding up. On the decade end chart of 2000 to 2009, Breakaway was listed as the number 24 song on the US Billboard Adult Contemporary chart. Breakaway was certified gold by the Recording Industry Association of America, RIAA, on February 5, 2005. It has also been certified gold in Canada and Australia. On July 10th and 11th, 2004, Kelly worked with director Dave Meyers to film a music video for Breakaway. The video shows Kelly at different stages in her life, as a child looking out the car window, as a teenager working at a movie theater, before showing her as the superstar she has become. To tie it in with the Princess Diaries 2 royal engagement, Kelly also attends the film premiere, walking the red carpet as bright cameras flash. Dave Meyers told MTV about the concept for the video, stating, "Since it's a movie tie-in, the idea stemmed from trying to figure out a new way of addressing the film footage requirement they put on you. So we came up with the idea of her attending the premiere, which is very much something she will do in real life. And Princess Diaries sort of parallels the humble kid who stumbles across the riches. We tied the premiere in with how she grew up as a kid. Her first flight where she's afraid of turbulence, just some of the human qualities behind a pop star," Meyers explained. "It's so rare you get to see who these people are. In Kelly's case, I felt the song was so telling and emotional that it would be a good opportunity. I did some research. The first treatment had like 6 jobs of her, but when reality set in and we realized how much time we had, we decided to just do the theater. She was very good. She came across so honest," Meyers continued. "I was a little worried, her coming off American Idol. It inherently feels manufactured, and I didn't know how much of it was true artistry. But when I met her, she really does have a good, solid vibe. It was an honor to bring some of that out of her." The video took 2 days to shoot, and it came out on August 9th, 2004. From the beginning, Breakaway was not intended to appear on Kelly Clarkson's upcoming sophomore album. On July 23rd, 2004, she called into Z100 to talk to Cubby about Breakaway. At the time, she said that she'd recorded Breakaway to tide fans over until the album was ready. She said that the real lead single was going to come in September, with the album due in October that year. However, that was before Breakaway became such a big hit, and because it was such a big hit, the plans clearly changed. By late October, it was confirmed that Breakaway actually would appear on Kelly's sophomore album. And not only that, it was the title track for the album. Although Breakaway had already been released as a single for the Princess Diaries 2 soundtrack, and although it was now the title track for Kelly's upcoming sophomore album, it was not actually considered the lead single for that album. The lead single ended up being Since You've Been Gone. Since You've Been Gone became the single shortly before the album Breakaway dropped on November 30th, 2004. Later singles included Behind These Hazel Eyes, Because of You, and Walk Away. Breakaway was actually re-released as a single in 2006, at least in certain markets. Even though it wasn't technically the lead single, many fans, myself included, tend to think of Breakaway as the actual lead single of the album. In my case, it's how I discovered Kelly Clarkson. Of course, I was aware of who she was. I knew about American Idol and I'd heard Miss Independent, but I was a little bit too young to really care about music enough back then. In 2004, I was 14 and I was ready to latch on to some good music, and Breakaway was just my introduction to Kelly. That song, and later that whole album, are what made me become a big fan of her. Even if it wasn't actually the lead single for the album, Breakaway had an immense impact on the success of that whole album era. It was a sleeper hit, but it primed people to be ready for more greatness from Kelly. It's sad, but she wasn't often taken seriously, at least at the beginning of her career. She was often written off as just a karaoke singer, and people thought she wasn't going to last. But she proved them wrong again and again. First with the success of A Moment Like This, then with the success of Miss Independent in 2003. But her career was still young, and by 2004, only another year later, she proved herself to have longevity. Breakaway is a song that she needed to release, and a song that prepared people for her more pop rock sound. People started taking her more seriously during this era. Breakaway primed radio listeners for more from Kelly Clarkson, and it paved the way for the massive success of Since You've Been Gone, Behind These Hazel Eyes, Because of You, and Walk Away. The Breakaway album era is the one where Kelly Clarkson was on top of the world. She was everywhere. You couldn't turn on the TV or the radio without hearing her or seeing her. Unfortunately, it was a difficult time for Kelly. It was a lot of pressure, and she often felt worn out. It's no surprise that later in her career, she tried to slow things down a little bit. And she's never quite had that same level of stardom as she did in 2004, 2005, and 2006. But I think Kelly's happier this way. Even so, Breakaway is a memorable era and one of the highlights of the 2000s. Breakaway's importance is undeniable, but what does Kelly think of the song? Back when she first started promoting the song in summer 2004, Kelly said that the lyrics fit my life perfectly. In a piece for Contact Music, Kelly described more about Breakaway and other songs on the album. Kelly said, "I've done country music, I've done pop, I've done gospel. All of my singles have sounded different. But this song was different from everything I've done. People didn't even know it was me." Breakaway is a simple song, and I think that its simplicity is what's beautiful about it. Whenever writers or producers come to work with me, they take advantage of the fact that I can really belt it out. What's cool about Breakaway is that it doesn't take advantage of that. The song just uses the simplicity of my voice. It was co-written by Avril Lavigne. She's very talented. I don't think you have to write everything that you sing. I could relate to the song. It describes how I got into the business verbatim. I did grow up in a small town. I wanted to get out. I felt like there was something, not better for me, but something different for me. I didn't feel like I fit in at school. Whether you are a DJ or if you work with computers or if you're a teacher, everyone has that point where they feel, I'm bored and this isn't what I want to do with my life. While that simplicity and its universal message may make the song endearing, it's also something that may have bored Kelly a little bit. She has said that it's one of her least favorite hits to sing. Kelly obviously loves to sing challenging songs with high notes and lots of belting. It's kind of what she's famous for, and she's really good at it. Breakaway doesn't really show off her voice in that way, as she said in the quote that I just referenced. It doesn't really show off her range as much as most of her songs do. Over the years, during live performances, Kelly has often let her fans take over singing the song in concerts. She's also shortened it by putting it into medleys with other songs. Throughout much of 2016, Kelly Clarkson did regular Facebook live chats in which she would cover songs and also answer fan questions. On August 26th, one fan asked her what was the hardest song of hers to sing vocally. Kelly responded in a surprising manner. Kelly stated, "It's the songs that stay in one place the whole time. Doing Breakaway, just because it's la da 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 the whole time. And here's the reason why, too. See, it's not like Let Me Down, because I'm passionate about Let Me Down. I love Breakaway, but it's just one of those sing-along songs that doesn't move me in a way like a song with angst or a song that's about love, or it's just like this easygoing, free song, like you let go and it's a new start kind of song. I don't get as passionate, I guess. That's why I love that people sing along on that song, because then it makes it more of a moment. We all know it, that's cool. It's like a spiritual high moment. But as far as singing, it's not because it's necessarily hard. It's just that if y'all aren't singing it with me, I get real bored. Let's be honest, it's a vanilla song. I love it, but it's like one of those vanilla songs that everybody sings along to, and it's like, okay, I'm moving to college, or like, I'm young and I'm 20, and okay, I'm making a new start. Those aren't actually as fun or exciting to sing vocally, if I'm being honest. Kelly then joked about angering the song's writers, but she didn't mean any harm by it. And to be fair, Avril essentially said the same thing in describing her decision to pass on the song as well back in 2002. Nevertheless, as vanilla and boring this song might be to sing, it still remains a staple in Kelly's live shows. She plays it at just about all of her concerts, and it's still a mainstay on radio, even over 15 years after its release. Over the years, Avril Lavigne has, on numerous occasions, complimented Kelly's singing on the song and congratulated her for her success. She has joked that maybe she shouldn't have actually given it away, maybe she should have kept it for Let Go, but she's still happy for Kelly, and she's never had any hard feelings about that. In that 2013 interview with Howard Stern, Avril did sing a very small part of Breakaway, but she didn't quite remember all of the lyrics, and so she did mess up how it sounded a little bit. But don't worry, that's not the only live version of Breakaway that Avril Lavigne was going to give us. Let's fast forward 6 years to 2019. Incidentally, it's around the time that Avril's 2001 demo of Breakaway leaked, in 2014, that Avril revealed to the world that she had Lyme disease. This Lyme disease was debilitating, and it delayed her from making music for a long time. It wasn't until February 2019 that Avril released her first album in over 5 years, Head Above Water. Its title track and its closing track, Warrior, are both about her battle with Lyme disease. Later that year, Avril prepared to go on tour with the Head Above Water tour. In an interview on September 4th, 2019, Avril revealed that she was actually planning to sing Breakaway on her tour. She talked about how it was a big hit with Kelly, and how she was happy that it was such a big hit for her, even though she sometimes regretted giving it away. Jokingly, of course. But she said that she was excited to sing it for the first time ever during her tour. The Head Above Water tour opened on Saturday, September 14th, 2019 in Seattle, Washington. I was there because I live in the Seattle area. Unfortunately for me, she didn't actually perform Breakaway at my concert. She also didn't perform it at the next one in Portland on September 15th. However, lucky fans that went to her third concert in Oakland, California on September 17th got to see her live debut of Breakaway. She introduced the song by talking about how she's been happy to write songs for other artists throughout her career, the most notable of those being Breakaway by Kelly Clarkson. She then launched into a short performance of Breakaway. Her version was short. She only played the first verse and the chorus. There wasn't any second verse or bridge or any of that. And she did mess up a few times. She jumped ahead in the lyrics and she had to look down to make sure that she was in the right place. But her version was beautiful. It sounded more like Kelly's version than her original demo. It had that more epic feel and that more pop rock sound, and her voice was a little bit stronger now because her voice has developed a lot in the last 20 years. She also has a little bit of a higher voice than Kelly, so I noticed that on the chorus, she was singing the second line higher, the way that Kelly only does in the final version of the chorus, but Avril did that on both lines. In the first performance in Oakland, Avril sang the same version that Kelly sings, where she talks about the rain falling down. But in later performances throughout the tour, she actually switched back to her original lyric, Snow. During those later performances of Breakaway throughout the rest of her North American tour, Avril also sang a lot better and there were no more mess-ups. Unfortunately, due to COVID-19, Avril's European and Asian tours have all been postponed until at least 2021. But with any luck, fans in those areas will get to see her perform Breakaway as well. And maybe she'll perform a longer, full version of Breakaway. Fingers crossed. Although it hasn't happened yet, I do have 2 final wishes for Breakaway. One is I hope that someday Avril and Kelly will finally perform the song together on stage. That would be a dream come true for a lot of fans, at least those of us who like both Avril and Kelly. And more than that, I really hope that someday they'll record a studio version of the song together. I would love to hear how a duet version of Breakaway sounds with both Avril and Kelly singing together. Even if it's not one of my favorite songs by either one of them, I love how it connects 2 of my favorite singers. 2 singers that I've been listening to since 2004. So that concludes the story of Breakaway, a song that went from Avril Lavigne to a big hit with Kelly Clarkson and back to Avril Lavigne in a personal way. I hope you liked this video, and if you did, please like and comment, and please subscribe to my channel. You can ring the bell to get notifications of all my other videos, including more behind the music features like this one. I'll report on a variety of artists, so if you have any songs that you'd like me to dive into, please let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.